Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Den.
I'm Deb.
And together we are
D2 Destinations.
And what we do is we travel around and videotape our experiences so we can bring that information to you if you're planning on going to the same destination.
We'll share our mishaps, some of our grand adventures, large and small, and maybe allow you to have some of the same stellar experiences that we've had.
And maybe save some money along the way. So come along to this week's destination. In this video, we want to recap our European tour that we went to Italy and Switzerland. There we went to Milan, Venice, up to Lucerne, Switzerland, and then back to Lake Como, where we stayed in Bellagio. This is a 7-day amazing trip that you can do with not a lot of money. So we're here to show you some of those tips and talk about each of these locations that we went to.
Can you do a 7-day itinerary in Europe? Of course you can. And you can see amazing highlights as we did. For instance, in Venice, we had a great gondola ride. In Lucerne, we were on top of the Swiss Alps. I mean, it was an epic adventure. And then, of course, we ended up in Bellagio. We took a fantastic boat ride and
we saw George Clooney's place. We saw Sir Richard Branson's place. We saw the Pirelli Mansion. And we also toured the mansion where they filmed Casino Royale, the 007 movie. And the grounds there were just so beautiful, picturesque. Check out the videos. You'll see what we're talking about. We have one video for each of those locations.
In Milan, we did
the rooftop of the Duomo and the shopping at the Galleria. We also tried to go to the Last Supper. So one tip we'll give you is get your Last Supper tickets way ahead of time. Just a few weeks ahead of time is not enough. You should plan that at least 3 months ahead of time if you want to see the Last Supper.
So that was one of our mishaps. But no matter what you do in any of these locations, you're going to find some exciting things to do.
Well, there are some things that you're going to miss along the way, but if you plan your trip ahead of time and use the rail system, we found that the rail system was extremely efficient. I was surprised at how comfortable and quiet these high-speed trains are. All the while, you're going over 140 miles an hour and you get to your destination and it's not that expensive. It's a really good way to go. We had our tickets ahead of time, but you can get them while you're there.
It's a comfortable way to get to multiple locations. If you want to maximize your time, as we had to do for our trip, we made sure we chose hotels near the train stations so we could get on and off quickly.
And one of the things that you're going to want to remember to take or get while you're there is this. This is an electrical adapter because you can't charge your phone without one of these. This style is good for Italy and Switzerland. She thought we only needed 1 or 2. No, 4. I recommend you have 4 of these. Multiple phones, cameras, and whatever electronics you have. You need some of these.
We hate to admit that they're right, but he was right. We needed more than one. He's a Boy Scout. He was always planning ahead, and I always thought we were going to be just fine, but we need the adapters. What you don't need is a hair dryer. So ladies, you're going to be okay because most of the hotels do have hair dryers, so that's cool.
Another thing that you want to do is contact your banks ahead of time and use your credit cards while you're there. You don't need to carry a lot of euros on you. The calculations are done for you and the conversion of the currencies if you use your credit card, and you just don't really need to carry a lot of the euros with you.
You'll know ahead of time if you were to book an excursion. For instance, the boat ride in Bellagio did ask that we pay in euros. We knew that ahead of time and we had that money set aside. So if you plan ahead, you can have all of that done prior to going. And I'd also say another don't would be don't be afraid to use all of the mass transit systems. Europe has it going on. I mean, every time you will go to a city in Europe, the subway systems, the metros, the trains.
The hop on, hop off. That was really great too. We used that in Milan. And the other tip that we would like to extend is have one additional day on the end of your travel in case something happens with the airlines. This past summer, of course, there were a lot of mishaps with the airlines. I had a connection flight on the way back. that had no connection. I got stuck in a city for 24 hours. And so therefore that delayed my trip by one. So if you can do a direct flight, do that.
So a 7-day trip to Europe is very possible and very exciting.
You don't have to spend a lot of money doing it.
And we just told you about 4 wonderful, exciting destinations. I mean, think about it. Milan, Venice, Lucerne, and Lake Como.
And there's a video on each one of those. So we'll have a link to those videos, or go on our D2 Destinations channel, and that link will be on the European travel. While you're there, if you're planning a trip to Alaska, we have a whole series on several of the cities in Alaska. So if you have any questions or if you have any comments, please leave them in the comments. We'll try and answer as many of those questions as we can for you. But we had a great time, and I'm sure with some of these tips, you're going to have a great time. Plan ahead and just enjoy it. It is well worth the time and effort to put a little planning on the front side.
Have fun, and remember, you're about to have the best 7 days of your life. So take off.
Please remember to like and subscribe so we can bring you more videos on D2 Destinations. We'll see you next time.